Top 10, Ibrahim Al Qurashi. The amount of times I dropped that trying to get it done.
Here's some codes to save you some cash on your next Middle Eastern niche or designer fragrances.
What's going on, guys? My name is Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today we're going to be talking about Ibrahim Al Qurashi, a very popular Middle Eastern brand in Saudi Arabia, and they're popular for very good reason. If you like beast mode fragrances, if you like fragrances that smell good and aren't really always that expensive, I mean, there's definitely some expensive we talk about. While you're ahead, just hit the subscribe button. And let's get started with today's video. It's going to be the top 10 Ibrahim Al Qurashi fragrances in my collection, 2024, basically. There are probably only two that I don't have from the collection as of right now in terms of like the more accessible ones, but they're on the way. And the only reason I'm doing this video before they even get here is because I already smelt them and they're more feminine fragrances. But I bought them anyways so we can review them and do a lot more content for the ladies that enjoy these Middle Eastern scents. And one of the videos that are going to be coming very, very soon, and another reason to subscribe, is rating all of the Musk collections. So we've got sugar, pomegranate, blueberry, all of them, basically. So let's go ahead and start with today's video, and no particular order, but you're gonna know which one's my absolute like top three. I'll make it very, very clear, and I'm saving those for the last three. So let's start things off with something that is amazing in terms of quality, in terms of longevity, in terms of scent profile. This smells like, at the very least, designer quality, and a designer that sells for like 200 bucks, like ombre leather, basically. This is called Sapphire Leather by Ibrahim Al Qurashi. Think ombre leather, and that's basically what it smells like. A super rich, thick black leather fragrance. That's it. It's as simple as that. There's really not much more to be said about this fragrance because it's just literally a leather fragrance that smells exactly like that. Bad boy vibes. You could wear it on its own. You could wear it whatever. But for the most part, like fragrances like this, the occasion's definitely going to be cooler weather. You could wear it to dates. You can wear it to meetings. You can wear it to wherever the heck you want to because it's just freaking leather. Ombre leather is not my favorite profile or scent DNA, but it does smell. The Parfum is definitely better. The white label, the newer one. But it's still a high ass quality smelling fragrance, and it smells like a genuine leather, like something that freshly processed and ready to wear or place in your car. It's kind of got like that new car smell in a sense, or a new leather jacket in a sense, and this also lasts all day. So 10 plus hours easily to the next day on clothing. The occasions, as I said, and the price tag on this one is under 150 bucks. You're getting more performance. You're getting about 80 mLs if I'm not mistaken. A beautiful fragrance that if you enjoy leather, you're absolutely going to love. Sapphire leather smells expensive as hell. This is niche right here. Moving on to the next one. This is called Jamaican Tobacco, and this is one of the tobacco series. And by the way, we're also going to be doing a guide for all the tobaccos, rating them and all that good stuff, and telling you guys what each one smells like. This to me smells like if Tuxedo by YSL had a bit more of an earthy undertone to it. Basically, it smells like it has certain aspects of that fragrance, but a lot more than just that, obviously. This isn't necessarily a clone by any means. I don't think that this is a clone. It doesn't have similar peppers, it doesn't have an effervescence, but you're going to sense something of that in the DNA or in the backbone. And that's actually a good thing because it's more mass appealing than Jamaican Tobacco sounds. I feel like when people see Jamaican Tobacco, they're like, wait, what? Is it gonna smell like ganja?
It's 420, y'all.
A bit more woodsy and not necessarily smoky. So that's basically what it smells like. Richer in scent profile and in DNA. It also lasts all freaking day. That's the case with most of these. And although I feel like I don't really have to tell you guys that these are beastly or the performance, because most of them are, I'm still gonna be telling you whether or not it lasts all day, and this absolutely does to the next day on clothing. If you like Tuxedo, that's basically the idea that this one's gonna give you, but it can be overpowering and very, very strong. In terms of the occasions and events, etc., I wouldn't necessarily wear this for special occasions. Just maybe going out, you know, to the mall with the guys, maybe just going out with the fam, chilling and stuff like that. It definitely smells more expensive because of its sheer quality and strength, but not opulent, if that makes any sense. It doesn't have any factors that's just like, you know, smells like refinement, etc. Still smells good. I would personally give this one like a 7.5 out of 10. Whereas leather, in terms of everything, I would give it a solid. For what it's doing, this is a 10 leather fragrance. For the price, you can find this sometimes for 85 bucks, you guys. For the price, it's absolutely a 10 out of 10. This one, 7.5, and there's some subjective ratings, or a lot of these are going to be subjective. This one was more objective because subjectively, the fragrance in itself, I don't really care for it, but the quality and what it's doing, it's a 10. This one, I would say that the quality is also pretty high and up there. Just the scent profile is not anything that I would say like wow. So 7.5 out of 10 for Jamaican Tobacco. Moving on to the next fragrance is going to be another tobacco fragrance, and don't be surprised because they have a lot to that tobacco series. So absolutely, they're going to make it. This one's called Dominican Tobacco, and I actually like the scent profile a lot lot more than Jamaican Tobacco, but it's also a lot more pungent, and it's going to be more polarizing than Jamaican Tobacco. I feel like Jamaican Tobacco is going to be more approachable and easier to wear. And this one specifically is going to be because of its use of orchid. Think of fragrances like Tom Ford's Velvet Orchid, just made more masculine because of its intensity in terms of incense. It adds more incense, it adds more earthy richness to it, and I think this is a beautiful ass fragrance. Just wears very thick. This is only winter time, maybe fall time, but that's it. I mean, it smells amazing. This definitely smells niche. It smells better than Velvet Orchid for me, seriously, better. But over time, throughout the entire day, I remember getting tired of the orchid, and that's kind of the case when using orchid as a note. Is it's easy to take over a lot of the fragrances, but it's definitely there. So although not listing any incense, I definitely get incense. It's got a smoky nature to it, and the saffron is also present as well. So it takes like this thick DNA and makes it diffusive because of a base of saffron. Very different, and that's what you're gonna find with these fragrances. Guys, if you're not gonna smell like people that walked out of the mall, or even people that are buying fragrances, you know, just other very known and popular niche fragrances. So these are excellent fragrances, and you're rocking with the right channel if you're looking for fragrances to genuinely stand out, and also talk about the ones that you can find. There's nothing wrong with those. I have plenty of niche shinings. I love them. I love PDM. One of my favorite my top 10. One of my top 10 is a PDM fragrance. That's not to take any validity or credibility away from any of those. No, they're amazing. These are just different. And honestly, I don't know. There might be like 2 Middle Eastern niche on my top 10 list, and we'll get there soon. Wrapping things up with this one, total longevity easily to the next day. Good luck getting this shit off of you because you have to wash your clothes to get that shit off of your clothing. The orchid, the saffron, the incensey nature, it's gonna linger on, man. And yeah, it's gonna be like a girlfriend you can never get rid of, or an ex-wife, or yeah, we all got problems. In terms of rating, the scent profile and just being so different, polarizing, and all of that good stuff, I personally really like this one, okay? But for me, even me really liking it, I'd give it an 8.5 to an 8.75 because of the lack of versatility. It's so specific, man. It's so specific. This is when you're going out with the boys. This is when you're going out with the homies, you're going out to eat, you're going out for dinner, whatever. Like, that's a statement, bold ass statement maker. Or if you're going to a wedding during the winter, you will 100% get attention rocking this fragrance. And that's why it takes a couple of docks and points. And not only that, but it also is polarizing for many people. And I remembered myself getting really tired of that orchid eventually. After like 4 hours, I was like, okay, it's still there. Like, can you stop? But it didn't stop, but still. Absolutely worth checking out. Moving on to the next fragrance, it's going to be 200 giant thing right here. It's called Arabian Tobacco. So this is after they saw their success with their tobacco line. They wanted to increase the concentration in the juice, and that's exactly what they did. They started doing them in 200 mLs, increasing the price by maybe about $30. And I think it's a great value of what you're paying for. This is going to be more polarizing and extremely unusual for those of you in the West. And even in the East, it's definitely something else. It's addicting, a little bit strange, but I love this one, genuinely. This is going to be a patchouli heart fragrance with some cacao, coffee, and saffron. As simple as that. And it's extremely Arabic. Like, this is Arabian Nights. Like, straight up, it's not going to be for everybody. But I absolutely love this one. The hefty dose of patchouli is consistent from the top all the way to the dry down. And it's also one that's only gonna work in the winter and the fall time. Definitely not the spring nor the summer. It just wears too thick. I'm usually one for wear what you want when you want. And I've even rocked Spice Bomb Extreme in the, you know, fall or spring and summertime, and I've gotten compliments. Some of my most complimented fragrances have been those during the summertime, okay? You could honestly, that's just a new concept of like what you can't wear during the summer. Sure, there might be more appropriate, and sure, some will wear better, but you can wear whatever you want. You just might have to spray it a little bit less. Like, I could get away with this spraying it 1 to 2 times, but ultimately it comes down to preference. So back to the fragrance in itself, it's chocolatey, it's sweet, it's coffee, it's got a bitter nature to the coffee that's overwhelming, that's counteracted slightly with a slight sweetness. But for the most part, it's gonna be bitter coffee, patchouli, and those, you know, caramel. Here I am saying caramel. It's caramel accords. And that's pretty much it with this one. It's not going to be for everybody. It is going to be polarizing. It's heavy in the patchouli. And I would give it an overall rating of a solid 8 out of 10. The only reason I don't give it a 10 out of 10 is because of the fact that the versatility, number one, it takes a hit, and also mass appeal also takes a hit. For me, I love it. But for the masses, I would say that this deserves an 8 out of 10. Moving on to the next one is going to kind of switch things up a little bit. And this is called Cologne Diamond Iris. This is also 200 mLs. You get a lot of juice, you get a lot of performance, and it reminds me of Hachivat. Blackcurrant, pineapple, DNA, a lot of oak moss, but it also kind of does its own thing. This isn't nearly as, you know, intensive in terms of like the soil note, and you get more citruses with something like this. So it's different and unique in its own respect, and I would personally reach for this one before Hachivat, although that's a great fragrance and I would still reach for it. This one just has a bit more of a freshness at the top, honestly. A great one if you're looking for spring and summer, and honestly, you could even get away with it during the fall time because of those wet woods, and like I said, that soil kind of smells exactly like that, actually, wet wood. Total longevity will give you about 8 hours, which is pretty solid, and even up to 10 plus hours. I've had times where it's lasted on clothing the next day, and I've had times where I was like sweating heavily and it only gave me about 8 hours. But even then, at the 8-hour mark being the lower end, it's a phenomenal fragrance for those purposes, especially if you like anything I mentioned. In terms of the occasions, I would dress it up or down. You could easily dress this one up. It has a certain refinement. It smells. It's not as overpowering as some of these, and you can wear it during dates, even during the spring and fall time, or during the spring and summertime rather, sorry. I mean, most of these, you guys, are under 150 bucks, so I don't really find the need to say for under 150 bucks, it's absolutely insane, because that's the case with all of these. Check the links down in the description. I'm going to be putting reputable sources from people who sell authentic products, and I can only vouch for those. So be careful and be safe out there, because there are a lot of places that you might find. And when I initially started with this fragrance game, I actually spent, I remember very specifically, I spent like $1,500 at a store, and shortly after that I was talking to one of the retailers, and he was telling me that there are fakes, and I ended up canceling the order because the prices were just something crazy. And just to save myself, I started researching, you know, brands, reputable places, people that actually know people, and actually contacting these stores myself. So take that for whatever you will, but I find that it's extremely relevant, and I've spent time trying to bring credible sources for exactly that, purposes of me buying these and also making them available for all of us. Moving on to the next fragrance is going to be another tobacco fragrance, and this is definitely one of the must-haves, especially if you like aquatic fresh fragrances. This smells like a beastly, slightly metallic fresh fragrance. It's aquatic, marine. It smells a lot like Megamare. If you like Megamare, this does exactly that, but adding this light green tobacco, basically. I mean, it's a beastly performing fresh fragrance, and one of the best entry fragrances to get into this house. Probably the most Western mass appealing style fragrance because it doesn't have anything polarizing. It's fresh, aquatic, and marine with a slight, I wouldn't really say marine, but it does have a slightly metallic undertone. Very slight. Not nearly as metallic as something even like Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce, although that's not that metallic, just giving you guys an idea. Nor as metallic as Sauvage, actually less metallic than both of those. And that's pretty much it with this one. It's fresh, it's aquatic, and yeah, it's appropriate for jeans and a t-shirt, or even during the summertime if you're going out to the beach, etc. But it's extremely strong, so you have to be careful with the sprays during the summertime. You could also rock it during the fall time, but summertime there are better fragrances to rock, like some of these other ones that I mentioned. But you can get away with it because it lasts 10 plus hours easily. Be careful with the trigger. I went nose blind and I absolutely gassed people the fuck out. All right, so that's pretty much it. A great value and one of the best ones to get into. I didn't give this one a rating, so let's go back to this. I would personally give this a 9.5 out of 10 for the way that it smells. It smells niche-esque, it smells niche quality, and performance is through the roof. And I think that a lot of people are going to absolutely love this one. In fact, it has less, I don't want to say less mass appeal, but it has more unique factors than even Spanish tobacco. So if we're placing this at a 9.5, I would say Spanish tobacco deserves an 8.75 to a 9 out of 10 as well. It increases in ranking because of its sheer versatility and its mass appeal, while this increases in ranking because of its uniqueness and also while having its mass appeal. So it really just depends on what you enjoy and what sounds better to you. Moving on to the next one, this is called Black Incense, or Black Diamond Incense rather, sorry. And this is a beautiful aromatic fragrance with what smells like to me a Laotian oud. Laotian oud smells like a creamy, slightly animalistic oud, basically. Ambery, sexy, but also very aromatic. This actually reminds me of fragrances like Latent Exclusive. I'm not gonna say that it's an exact clone, but it actually gets pretty close to my nose, and there's nothing wrong with that because of the fact that this is 200 mLs. This is spicier and it is more aromatic, and it definitely projects harder than something like that. I have Latent Exclusive. I love it. I will always own it, but this is another one that I personally find to be one of the better ones from Ibrahim Al Qurashi. I will say that this one seems a little bit more wearable. It doesn't necessarily have as ambery of a nature, and it makes it easier to wear for more of a variety of seasons. I personally would wear this during the spring, the fall, the winter. I would still rock it in the summertime. Just not really my choice. And for that reason, it has much more of a versatility than something like Latent Exclusive. For under 150 bucks, it's fantastic, and the longevity of this is going to last 10 plus hours on clothing. You're still gonna get some of those spices. Vanillic, geranium, ambery, the oud, it smells like $1,000,000. The projection on this is going to be absolutely insane and enormous. It's actually projecting more than Latent Exclusive in itself. Significantly different though. I'm just giving giving you guys a reference. That is it. It smells similar in the same vein, not nearly as vanillic or ambery, but it absolutely reminds me of that. In its own regards, I think that this one deserves a solid 8.5 out of 10. It's specific though, because Latent Exclusive in itself is specific, considering the fact that it has low Asian oud, and also the fact that it's pretty aromatic and spicy. Moving on to the next fragrance is Brazilian Tobacco. This is another one, a part of the 200 ml series, and it also has saffron, oud, praline, and something that smells a little bit camphorous as well, or earthy, I should say. And I also get what smells like to me might be praline. Praline with a little bit more of the cedar dried down. And what this ends up smelling similar to, I'm not gonna say that this is a cologne, because by no means do I find this actually close enough to be called a cologne. It's much lighter. Ultimately, what this reminds me of is like a fresher version of something like Haultain. And I love Haultain by PDM. PDM's Haultain is one of my favorite ones from the Parfums de Marly, but it's not going to be the most favorite for the masses, right? Because it's a little bit polarizing, considering the fact that it has saffron, some oud, some praline. It's pretty intense. And this one seems like a more wearable version of that. It's something that it has an aquatic note to that, basically. But as this one starts to dry down, I get more of a resemblance to something like that. This in itself, though, is a bit more wearable, especially during the spring and summertime. If I were to pick between the two, which one I would wear during the heat, I would wear this one. And yes, you can wear them during the summertime. I have personally. You have to like oud, though. And we have been wearing oud in the East since the beginning of time, since the beginning of perfumery. So you absolutely can. But I find that this is a more wearable version. All things considered, it's a more wearable version of something like Haultain. Pretty much. Long story short, if you're looking for that DNA and you like it, this is 200 mLs of that. And I already told you guys the price, but this is an amazing fragrance. I think that this will make a lot of people happy as a gift for sure, including these colonins. Specifically, the iris will be a great gift, you know, for people who like more niche style DNAs, and Spanish Tobacco will be a great gift for easy. It's a more easy fragrance. And for the Brazilian Tobacco, I really like this. I genuinely really like this. Do I like it a little bit more than the Black Diamond Incense? Yes, I do actually. I would give it about an 8.5 out of 10 for me personally. And the reason I say that is because it does increase in versatility. It is a bit more versatile than something even like the Black Diamond or Black, what is it called? Black Diamond Incense, is that what it is? Yeah, Black Diamond Incense. I love the intricate designs and the whole like Ibrahim AlQurashi on one side in Arabic. And so back to this one, I would give it an 8.5. In terms of the longevity, it's not gonna be beastly. This is the only one that's not gonna be beastly, but I have no problem squeezing a maximum of like 8 hours. If you spray it on clothing, you'll get definitely that. And I would only imagine that over time it's gotten stronger or will get stronger as well. In terms of the occasions, you can dress it up. I wouldn't necessarily say dress it down, but I have dressed it down and it worked for me actually. I wore it to the gym and it worked for me. I got a couple of compliments. So yeah, you could wear it dressed up, dressed down. It's really up to you basically. Moving on to the next one, and now we're getting to the heavy hitters. These are like, for me personally, my top two from the brand easily. And I think we're gonna do it with this one first. This is gonna be Blue Oud by Ibrahim Al Qurashi. This is easily a 10 out of 10. Easily a 10 out of 10 for me. Imagine something like Ombre Nomad, more intense. Yeah, that's it. Literally, that's it. Blue, inky ass oud. So it's saffron, it's raspberry, it's leather, and oud. That's it. As simple as that. So damn sexy. So damn strong. You have to be careful on the trigger. And listen to this. That was gold. That was freaking gold. Hang on. Every single time. Love this stuff. 10 out of 10. I think it's pretty unisex for the ladies that enjoy incensey oud fragrance, because I also do get a note of incense in this one. Lasts on three days for clothing. Wash your clothes. That's how you'll get it off. That's pretty much it. Oud, you can wear this every single day. You just cannot spray this more than 3 times if you're gonna wear it during the summertime. That's it. Got addicting stuff. 10 out of 10, period. Last but not least, I love this. And if you've been following me since the beginning of my channel, I've been talking about this since day one, and I will always talk about it. It's my favorite one. And in fact, it's kind of surprising that it was my favorite one. It's Blueberry Musk by Ibrahim Al Qurashi. This is a creamy, musky fragrance that's vanillic, but also jammy ass blueberry. Plain and simple. Flirty, but sexy at the same time. Seductive, I find the musky nature to make it, and vanillic. I give it a 10 out of 10 in terms of longevity. It's 10 plus hours. So for me, I would rate this a 10 out of 10. Although I don't think it's going to be the most mass appealing for the masses because it's very specific in nature. It's musky, it's creamy, and jammy blueberry. I find it to be unisex, but it's going to be more unisex in an Eastern realm, basically. For those of you in the West, you'll find that it's too musky to be unisex with a slight bit of woody accords. The same way I find this one to be unisex, but for the most part, even though that this is polarizing and it's not going to be most mass appealing, it still deserves a 10 out of 10. I find this to be the similar case with this, but ultimately, if we're putting this next neck and neck in terms of like quality, scent profile. This is a 10 out of 10, and I would place this at like an 8.75. Now we're talking objectives. So subjectively, these are both 10 out of 10s for me, but objectively, quality, scent profile, longevity, all that stuff, this is still a 10 out of 10, honestly. Especially in regards, how are we objectifying it, right? That's what we have to ask. We're placing it in terms of value, price for money, and that's gonna translate with performance. We're also placing it in terms of overall scent profile enjoyment, which, you know, think Hombre Nomad, everybody loves that fragrance, one of the highest rated. And we're also placing it in terms of versatility. So although most people won't wear this in the summertime, ask the people in the East, they definitely will. This one you can wear all year round, will probably be best for all seasons except for the summertime, but you can still easily rock it during the summertime. And these musks intentionally are for spraying on your body like after a shower, and then you spray a fragrance on. But this is strong enough to just wear it as a fragrance. And for most of you in the West, that's gonna be more than enough. So for those of you wondering how many times to spray, we literally spray this on and coat it first, and then go spray our fragrance. So yeah, that's pretty much how you spray. Don't ask me, ask the people who started with this stuff in the East. That's how they spray. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Till the next one, peace.